All right.
Now, do you want to hear this?
Oh. Good. You said.
My feet are cold, Mummy.
Now, Elise, we're going to look at the Nephilim tonight. Do you want to pull out any of your books that you've got? Because I'd like you can sort of.
You want me to bring out my shadow hunter book?
Well, whatever it is that you were talking about with the Nephilim, because that's why we're doing.
What's that series?
It's nice though. Yeah. Man.
Right. Do you want the Bible?
Yes, please.
That one. That's sort of
Thank you.
reasonably murder.
So how much butter did you have to use? Is that like 120? Yes, two of those, but it was 2 months. So 200 grams, so 500 grams. Yeah, 500 grams. And you can make, and that makes 2 of those. I was going to say. So is the volume reduced?
Oh, that.
Yeah. This is the last of the series, and that's the first another beginning series. And then this is the Shadow of the Critics.
Oh my god, have you read all of them?
All of the series.
Have you read the critics and everything and the Bane and
I've read the Bane kind of series, yes.
have you read the Angel one?
The
There's something devices.
the Infernal Devices.
Those
Those are the ones that I read first.
What?
Those are the books that I read first.
Oh, they're my favorite.
They are my favorite.
Yeah.
Go.
Well, she kind of. I mean, it doesn't really really work. It was just something that, like, the other day I was like talking to Kyle about the books, and then
Yeah, that's right.
I just realized that because me and my friends tend to complain a lot about the fact that Tessa doesn't really have a personality or a backstory. Like, she has a bit of a backstory, but like really the minimum. And Will's is just really complicated, and so is Jen's,
Where you go.
and they're all their backstories are dramatic. Because what Cassandra did is she basically wanted you to see yourself as Tessa.
We should see the sweaters.
Really?
So she literally gave Tessa, like, she did what Tessa would do as anybody, not what, like, a really, this is a really good case.
Thanks.
Aaron's. My
Sydney.
sister could knit Aaron. Oh my goodness.
I remember that one of the sweaters that's really
My other dad, Dad was bought that.
What does it say?
Naughty by nature.
It was just sitting in Aldi staring at me. I thought I must have done that. Oh, okay.
I'll put it in here.
Well, I've got
I have it.
back here. That's oh.
Yeah. It's pretty
Do you guys want to shuffle down this end, and then you might be seen by the camera?
I'll be right back.
That's nice. Hey, are you making socks? Cat. Oh, nice.
Yes, alpaca fine.
Oh.
Remember it.
Another feel then? Wool Appreciation Club. Yeah.
It might not be that tactile.
I'm ready for alpaca.
Oh,
That's nice. I really like that.
And you can get knitting patterns in wall too. You can actually like the crazy get those patterns. And then they have different class. So they have a ferret plan. I put in a ferret plan.
Just
Create it up.
yeah, okay.
I put something like that.
There is like a wall.
The last one I even needed was.
Oh, but is the water heated up?
I think yes.
That's
That's cute, isn't it? Oh my gosh, I love it.
That's clever. That's a clever word. I think that's what they wear. Belted in people.
Yeah.
So we're going to make a start.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
Once Elise comes back, she's going to do the beginning point.
Mm.
Hot water.
So we're going to look at the Nephilim. Right. Have you heard of the Nephilim or the Nephilim? How do you say it?
Nephilim.
Okay, Nephilim. Okay. Is that how it's spelt in these?
Actually, wait. Oh, I just saw.
Oh, there's socks.
Oh yeah, okay. That's sort of how it's spelt in the Bible as well.
Nephilim.
So it's come from these books, I understand, which I've not read, but it was something that Elise raised. Can you tell us a bit about these books and what the Nephilim are in the context of these?
Well, in the context of these, as demons are basically like plaguing a world, and back when humans were like aware of this, we weren't. Someone summoned the angel Razel, and then the angel Razel gave them three instruments. Yes, I've read the books. Instruments, and there's instruments, the model instruments, and it's a mirror, a sword, and a cup. And from the cup, he made the first shadow hunters, who are basically humans with, Angel Razel's angel blood.
So are they half human, half angel? Is that the
Yeah,
deal? Or?
that's kind of the
They're looking.
yeah, they're completely human. They just have like heightened abilities to be able. They're basically a warrior. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Their sole purpose is to protect the humans, the mundanes, because they are human. The mundanes from killing everybody.
From themselves? Or
No, from the demons. Protect the mundanes from the demons.
The demons look human too.
No. Well, they can look human, but that's if they're shapeshifters.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So
Is this to do with the mortal instruments? I've heard. Is that what it's called? The series is called.
Model instruments, the infernal devices.
And Nephilim
The
is
two others. The two series that are actually fully out.
more lessons and what?
Infernal devices.
infernal devices. And so the Nephilim are which characters? Are they the ones with the
Shadow hunters.
angel blood?
Yes.
Okay.
So the Mundanes and the Nephilim.
Yeah.
Those are the real names.
Nephilims, but yeah, they're just called the Shadow Hunters.
Yeah.
If you want to be all really fancy.
Okay.
With
And they're the good guys. The Nephilim are the
vampires.
good guys.
Um.
Effectively.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
They are?
They are. They are meant to be the good guys.
Okay.
Unless they go insane.
Unless they go insane.
Yes. Well, just get random ideals that would
Like Valentine.
like Valentine Morgenstern,
Okay.
which is
He's a shadow hunter that went evil.
well, not evil. He just
It's not a demon.
he's a shadow hunter, but he thought that because Lycanthropy. Okay.
Lycanthropy,
Yeah,
which is werewolves
wolves
and
and
vampires.
vampires. And so the demon diseases in humans, and he thought that it would be better if they just killed them all.
Wait, so the vampires and the lycanthropes have souls, whereas demons don't have souls.
Okay.
But he thought that he just treated
Yeah,
them
and
all
then
like
there's
demons.
warlocks who are half demon, half human. And there is one warlock who's half demon and half shadow hunter.
Oh yeah, that's Tessa.
Yes.
Okay. And they're not good.
No, Tessa's the main character of the Infernal Devices.
Okay. And he's a good character.
She's a good character.
She's a good character. Okay. So aside from being half demon, she's a good character.
Yes.
Because she has a soul.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
Because demons don't have souls.
Okay.
that's why then.
All right.
The
Sounds
distinction.
complicated.
Everything with a soul.
Everything with a soul deserves to live.
Yeah, it's
basically.
like good.
Yeah, it's good unless they go insane,
Yeah.
Okay.
which vampires or werewolves can do if they're
Okay.
not helped properly.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
warlocks can do it too. Warlocks are yeah, I already explained that. And then there are fairies. Fairies are supposedly half demon and half angel. So they're beautiful people, but they can't lie, and they really like tricking with you. And
They're malicious.
yes,
Okay. There you go. Interesting. Well, we'll have a look at this word Nephilim in the Bible,
get my fingers stuck.
because that's what we asked about. It only happens twice in the Bible, the word.
Oh my God! In the whole
In the
Bible.
whole Bible, it occurs twice.
Really?
Okay. And we'll look at them both because it's not going to take us very long. So, if you want to open up your Bible to Genesis chapter
I should
6.
probably get the Bible that you lent me, didn't you?
There's one there.
Yes, but this one in
Should
my
I lend you one as
Yeah,
well?
go grab it if you
Okay.
get familiar
That's
with that one.
Genesis.
So Genesis is your very first book in the Bible, and chapter 6 is the 6th chapter of the whole Bible. Right, so it's not hard to find. Right, I find my
Wickedness
Bible's
in the
page
world.
5, yes. So let me see. Can I give you a potted history of what's happened? So chapter 1 in Genesis is the story of creation. Chapter 2 is a continuation of the story of creation, and then it talks about the Garden of Eden. Chapter 3 in Genesis is the story of Adam and Eve and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And it's traditionally called the fall of man, the temptation and the fall of man, as it's titled in my Bible. So that's the story, if you're familiar with it, of the tree, and they're told not to eat the fruit, and then the serpent tempts Eve says that she should eat the fruit.
Why is serpents?
Oh, we'll have to do that
Said
another time. That's for another.
It's a whole series of
That's a
Bible
whole other
discussions.
day, I think.
That's a good question though.
It is.
I'll never get that. I'll never
Okay.
get that.
Well, we'll tag that one as
And the reason why it's such a long discussion is most people don't look at it. So
yeah.
most of us are still searching for
It's probably
answers around
probably a good one
Or
to look
searching,
at.
looking at the questions.
Chapter
Chapter
6.
6. That's really.
Maybe it's something that we don't ever get.
So that's chapter 3.
Oh no.
Then chapter 4 is the story of Cain and Abel, who are the two sons of Adam and Eve. Then chapter 5, if you look at it, very much it's a genealogy. So it's tracing the family of Adam down through the generations, and it finishes with Noah and Noah's sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And then chapter 6 is the beginning of the story of the flood. So Noah's Ark, story of Noah's Ark. Now we'll read. I'll read for you the first 8 verses, the beginning of this story. Now it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of God, came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great on the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing, birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Now it's in there somewhere. We're reading different.
Yeah, mine doesn't sound
versions.
anything like that. So.
No,
Where
so
we started?
So I was
verse
reading-
4 it was.
yeah,
No,
so
Same.
it's exactly like it was.
yes, because
Verse
we're
4
reading
has-
from the
has
same
something.
version.
Okay.
Okay.
Whereas Man's is
I've got
different.
Nephilim too, yeah.
Yeah, so you've got Nephilim in verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
So where I read giants,
Mm.
that's the way it is often translated. But
Giant.
yes,
The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Went
is
to the
one.
daughters of human beings and had children.
Yeah, that is one of the references in the Bible of this word Nephilim.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
That
okay.
suddenly clicked on the whole Sons of God.
So does it make sense to you? What
That the
in
angels had children with the women, the human women.
And these are the mighty men who are of old,
yes.
the men of renown.
Yeah, so there's this sort of heroic, heroic, not necessarily,
Mighty
Um,
men, yeah.
but strong, perhaps a warrior race, is the idea there. So it's translated as giants, but we'll have a look at the actual word in a bit, and you'll get a bit of a different sense of it. Now the other reference is the book of Numbers. Now, so the book of Numbers is the fourth book of the Bible. You've got Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers.
Is this Cain and Abel in mine?
That's the fourth.
Well, that's the fourth chapter. We're going to the different book
Fourth book.
now. So we're going to the fourth
Right.
book. So
Which is what this?
it's the Numbers. It's called
Numbers, okay, so
Numbers.
found
There you
it.
go. You found it. And you've got it too. Good. And chapter 13.
There we go.
But I
Okay.
think so. They're the. What are they called? They're the.
Chapters.
What are
The
the
big
chap-
numbers of the chapters.
The big numbers of the chapters.
Okay.
Okay.
Numbers is the book.
So
Book.
Yeah.
Chapter 13.
So you've gone into Deuteronomy. So
You've
go.
got numbers before that. You had it.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I had it. I just find the chapter now.
Yeah.
13, exploring.
Yeah.
Canaan.
That's right.
Exploring Canaan. But
So
I
that
have
word is
the
Canaan.
12. Oh, Canaan.
Canaan is how you say that.
Okay.
Interesting.
And I have the 12 spies sent to Canaan.
So the
Which is
story.
basically exploring Canaan.
The story here is that the children of Israel, the nation of Israel, had spent time in Egypt as slaves. They had been rescued, if you like, by Moses, who was one of them, but had been raised in the royal house as a prince. And he goes and he rescues the children of Israel from slavery in Egypt and leads them in towards this place that was promised to them by God, okay, the land of Canaan. They spend approximately a year walking from Egypt through the Arabian Peninsula and up towards the boundary of Canaan.
Mhm.
And then they send these spies into the land of Canaan to check it out, to see,
So
whether
that
it's
they
a
don't go and get killed, which is really smart.
yeah, and just to see what it's like, whether it's actually
Worth it.
worth it.
Livable.
livable. Yeah, those sorts of things. So that's what happens there. Now, if we go to verse 33. Okay, so the 12 spies head off into the land, and they go and they bring things like a massive cluster of grapes, is what I remember, carried on a pole, and they brought pomegranates and figs. So they've got all this. There's obviously a lot of good stuff growing there. But most of the spies actually come back and they say, no, we'll never beat the people. We'll never be able to drive the people out. This is never going to be home for us. And the very last verse of this chapter, verse 33, is part of that discouragement. There we saw the giants, the descendants of Anak came from the giants, and we were like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so we were in their sight. See, so they're bringing back this picture of these big people that they feel they can't possibly overthrow. Okay, and that's so giants again. That is the other.
And mine says
The Nephilim, both
Same,
times.
yeah, both times.
Both times, yeah. So those are your two references to the term Nephilim.
And that's it.
That's
Wow.
it in the Bible. Okay. So now I've got some things.
So were those books written by somebody with some sort of a fake background?
Christian,
Probably.
Can you answer that? Do you know if they're written by
They
somebody?
were Cassandra Clare. She wanted to write books on the differences between angels and Satan and demons, and like God, but she and then somewhere along the research she found Nephilim and what's that book that's brought up in brought up in devices at like pretty much in the first book when Will meets Tessa.
It's like the Tale of Two Cities or something.
It's not the Tale of Two Cities. It's written by an author about like details of like heaven and hell. And it's like
Yes.
it sounds like a fire.
Inferno.
Yes,
And
yes.
Dante's Inferno.
Yes.
Some good clues, please.
Yes, interesting.
So she references Dante's Inferno.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In the first meeting of Tessa.
And with Hannah.
I
So
have
both
read Dante's
very
Inferno.
rich. They have a lot of.
So look, here's some stuff I dug up about the Nephilim.
From Wikipedia.
Okay. So there's your two references at the top, Genesis 6:4 and Numbers 13:33. And then I pulled out this paragraph from Wikipedia. They actually try to represent the word there in Hebrew. I don't know how they manage that in just plain text, but there you go. The Nephilim were offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men before the deluge. Now that's the story of Noah's Ark, according to Genesis 6:4. They were said to later inhabit Canaan at the time of the Israelite conquest of Canaan, according to Numbers 13:33. Similar biblical Hebrew word with different vowel sounds is used in Ezekiel 32:27 to refer to dead Philistine warriors. And the Philistines were a race of people who also lived in the same area of land, and they were supposed to be very tall also. So if you're familiar with the story of David and Goliath was a very, very tall warrior, and he went out. The Philistines went out to make war with the Israelites, and basically Goliath went up front because he was their sort of leading warrior and challenged any of the Israelite warriors to a duel, and whoever lost the duel would be their nation would be slaves to the other nation. You see. Now David, who was a shepherd boy at the time, actually went and won the battle. was the story. But Goliath was very, very tall and supposed to be
6
one of
fingers,
the.
6 toes on each hand.
Oh,
Apparently so. I thought it was something like that.
Yeah, so, yeah.
there you go.
I recognise it.
24 in total.
Mm.
There you go.
So yes, the Philistines were meant to be this very tall people. So I wonder, I didn't get a chance to do it this afternoon. Perhaps we might look up this Ezekiel 32 passage.
Yeah, that's right.
So, you know how we did the divide the Bible in half thing? Let's do that again. Divide your Bible in half. Okay. Now it'll be somewhere in the third quarter. You're looking. So if you go quarters, we managed to find. Well, I just found Malachi, and you might find Matthew.
I found Matthew.
Okay, so you're going in the third quarter, not the first half, but the first half of the second half. If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, Ezekiel,
whoops.
you said. Yeah. I got it.
So then, if you take that quarter and divide it into half, you get to Jeremiah, is where I am.
That?
Where are you,
Yeah.
Jeremiah? Now, so we're going to go past Jeremiah, I think. Hang on. Am I right? Yes, we are.
Yeah.
I'm at Isaiah.
Lamentations? Ezekiel.
After Lamentations, you will find Ezekiel.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the reference was Ezekiel 32:27. So find chapter 32.
Chapter.
Yeah, it just says warriors.
32. And then verse 27 is the small numbers.
Got 23.
Uncircumcised warriors.
But they do not lie with the fallen warriors of old.
What does it say at the end of the verse as well?
The terror of these warriors has stalked through the
Yes, okay. The word that I've got in both cases is mighty, which I think is what you had.
Which verse?
So we're in
27.
chapter 32,
Verse
27.
Yeah, they do not lie with the mighty, and because of the terror of the mighty in the land of the living.
Okay.
I've got fallen warriors, but they do not lie with the fallen warriors.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
They did not lie with the mighty, the fallen from among the uncircumcised.
Yeah, so they do not lie with the mighty who are fallen of the uncircumcised, who have gone down to hell with their weapons of war.
They have laid their swords under their heads that drive iniquity will be on their bones because of the terror of the mighty in the land of the living.
Now, this sentence said something which was quite interesting. Just tells you a bit of the nature of the Hebrew language. A similar biblical Hebrew word with different vowel sounds is used in that passage we just read to refer to dead Philistine warriors. Just be aware, Hebrew, there are no letters in Hebrew that are vowels. All the Hebrew letters are consonants. Okay, and what the Hebrews do is they'll take a word which is all made up of consonants, and they infer the vowels themselves as they read it. Now, the scholars, Jewish Hebrew scholars, would put in the vowels in writing with little symbols between the letters, or above the letters, or below the letters. Now, if you're familiar with the New Testament, with the stories of Jesus, he talks about the jots and tittles, and that's what they are. They are the vowel sounds that go in between the Hebrew or above the Hebrew letters. So the Hebrew alphabet's quite interesting, only having consonants in it.
Yeah, okay, and I'm pretty sure that this might come from, I don't know the actual name of it, but it's like a sound. It's like just let me get my French dictionary.
Diving to French.
Oh, we're talking about languages.
Oh, languages, okay.
My wart's coming back on my eye.
Yeah, yeah.
On your eye.
Yeah, but
They're under.
on the here, it's sort of here.
What is it?
But you can see
The
some.
wart. Yeah, I thought I had I
Oh,
thought I had some terrible growth in my eye. Went to a see a dermatologist. Goes, no, it's a
I
wart.
don't actually
that's annoying though. Like, what a terrible place.
But anyways, there's some French dictionaries.
What is it?
What
is
She gives you a wart remedy.
It's like it's called something like a sound like it's basically like the sounds like translate into every language. So if you look at if you know that it's kind of like all the sounds that you can find in any language. It's represented by different symbols and like letters and stuff.
Okay.
And then if you're trying to, it'll feel like if you're fluent in some languages and you learn how to use the dictionary, sort of saying you can like learn how to say the word.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that's what this is.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So look, if you look at the word, I've listed it as Strong's 05303. So that number is, remember I talked about Strong's concordance, and Strong basically numbered all of the words of the Hebrew language as his way of referring to them, as cataloguing them. All right. So Strong 05303, and this is an attempt to represent this word in English letters. Okay. Notice in brackets it's Nephil there. So if I were to show you the original, the Hebrew word, it's made up of 3 letters. Okay. There's the N sound, there's a F sound, and there's the L sound. You see, and the vowels are inserted into that by the reader.
wow, that's amazing.
That's the way the language works.
Is it still like that today?
Yes. So modern Hebrew, it does the same thing. Like I said, the scholars do insert vowels, so you can find the Hebrew with vowels inserted in it. Okay. Now the im bit, Nephilim, I think is just a plural. Okay.
So Nephil is one.
Nephil is the singular, and Nephilim is the plural. So that's where the im is. Okay. Now, so what's interesting about this is where this word comes from. So the second line, it says, and this is I've just cut and pasted this from my computer thesaurus. It says from 05307. So that's a different word. So then I listed this 05307 underneath. And again, look, you'll see the N sound, the PH, F sound, and the L sound. Okay, it's just got slightly different vowels between the words, between the letters. You see? Now, a Hebrew reader looking at the text will say it's one word or the other based on the context. Okay, but
This is how we do when we're talking and we say two.
Or there.
Okay.
Yeah, those words that sound the same, but they're different words. By context, we tell which one we're talking about.
Francophones?
Oh yes, I can't remember any of those words.
No idea.
So this word that it's derived from is translated in these ways: fail, fall down, cast down, fall away, divide, overthrow, present, lay, rot, accepted, lie down, inferior, lighted, lost.
Misc. What is misc?
Miscellaneous.
Oh.
So the numbers that follow each of those is the number of times it's translated in that particular way in the King James or the authorized version. So
Well, fail is the biggest.
fail is the one that has the most, yes.
200.
And then fall down has 25 and cast has 18. So this word, the Nephilim, is derived from the word to fail or to fall down
Wow.
or be cast down.
But they're sons of God, so they went down to the earth. But what those that have been failed down, don't they get cast down to hell, not earth?
Yes.
So did they choose to go down to earth and then because of that get cast down to hell?
Something like that.
Okay.
There's something like that. Can I can we go back to the Genesis one? Genesis 6:4. The first one we found, right at the beginning of the Bible. I just want to point something out, and this is where I disagree with what Wikipedia says. It says there were giants, Nephilim, on the earth in those days, and also afterwards when the sons of God came into the daughters of men and they bore children to them. I don't think the Nephilim are the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men. Not the way I read that sentence.
Right.
So Genesis 6, chapter 6, verse 4, it says, and this is my translation, there were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterwards when the sons of God came into the daughters of men and they bore children to them.
So it's like the
I think they're two different
thing.
groups
Wait. I'm
from
sorry,
what I
I'm
read.
completely lost.
Yeah.
Is it 6:4?
6:4?
So the giants and Nephilim are different from
In Genesis.
the
Okay.
children.
Well,
That's
So basically the
It's sort
Nephilim
of like an implication. It implies that they were the result. That's why they've got that, because this is implying.
Well,
what's
not
the point
way-
of referring to them at all if it's not like that though, you know? Like it was just
When
saying
the
they
sons
were
of
there.
God
Well
came
done.
into the daughters of men.
There's a lot of
Whereas
factors of begats. So
What
summary
does
information.
what does your translation say there, man? Could you read
The
yours out?
the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and afterwards, when the sons of God went to the daughters of the human beings and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown.
See, it seems to imply to me, and I'm no Hebrew scholar and I haven't looked at the Hebrew, but the translations I've looked at seem to suggest that there are actually two different groups of people being talked about here. Basically, the subject is it's talking.
You
about
could read it
Nephilim.
either way. You could read it either way.
I don't know that I do. I think I only read it the one way.
Yeah, that these dudes were here and this also happened.
Yeah.
You could read it that way,
Yeah.
or these dudes were here and also afterwards they were. It implies that they were the result of that relationship. It does imply it to me.
Or that
Yeah,
particular
I-
relationship, not like all.
Yeah, the Nephilim were on the earth at that time, you know, and they were also there when the sons of daughters and the human beings had children together.
Yeah.
But
So
wait,
I'm not. Yeah, I'm
I mean,
just
So does
not
that
sure.
mean we have to find someone that speaks Hebrew to explain it to us? Because I know people that speak Hebrew.
They may have a better sense of actually what is intended by they'd look at the Hebrew text and say no, it means this or it means that. They'd have a better sense of this. But from what I've read from the English, I don't read into it what Wikipedia and others have also read into it there.
I just don't understand
But
why
what are you
they.
saying that there's something?
So Wikipedia says that the Nephilim were the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men, but I don't think that that's the case.
Oh, really?
In that case, though, I just don't understand what the point. Like, I understand what the point is if they are the offspring, but if they're not the offspring, then what's the point of mentioning them? Yeah. Especially in that kind of.
Mine is exactly as
The
David.
same
It's
as mine.
now there were giants in the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them.
If they're not the same, as far as the story goes, the reason I would say they're probably mentioned is that it's kind of like here you've got this I suppose, a mythical race in a way, or there's some sort of sense of these beings existing. They don't exist anymore, but they did exist, or we believe we existed them. They existed back then, and so they're trying to pin the story that they're telling to
A point in time.
a point in time that people have some knowledge about.
Uh-huh.
That's why they might be mentioned in that way.
But if that's the only time that they're referred to, then there's no history. So why are they used as a point in
you
time?
then see it in the Numbers chapter where you have a sense of people have a sense of the existence of these
Nephilim.
people and the descendants of the Nephilim existing within the land of Canaan, which is part of the scary story as to why we shouldn't go in there.
So Nephilim are warriors, but so are the sons of God and humans. So the sons of God and humans, they were warriors.
I'm not sure that they were.
But it says they were the heroes. Wait, the Nephilim were on the earth when the sons of daughters and human being had children by them. So when it says they were the heroes of old, men of renown, are they talking about the children of God and humans, or are they talking about the Nephilim?
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
I would say they're probably they're talking about the Nephilim. As
Okay.
being
Wait,
the men
so
of
you're
renown.
talking
So who are the sons of God? Are they just humans? Because I thought humans were the sons of God. There's the Nephilim and there's the sons of God.
Yeah, I'm confused. Are the sons of God like angels or are they humans?
So, a lot of Christian tradition will say the sons of God are angels, or were created as angels, and came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Is part of the fall of the fallen angels.
So the sons
There's
of
fallen
God.
angels in here, aren't there? Is that part
Yeah,
of
fallen
this?
angels are greater demons.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is part of a mythology that Christianity has built up around some of these stories, that there were angels as a separate created race, that some angels fell in some sense. They were thrown out of heaven and they became demons.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what is often read into a passage like that.
So the sons of
I'm
God.
still really confused.
Yeah, it's so
What are you-
unclear.
What are you like? What are you implying there? So I get the whole. I actually don't understand what the sons of God means.
Okay.
Or because daughters of men is really clear,
Mhm.
but sons of God doesn't make sense.
They could
And
either
then if you're saying that the so are you saying that the whole that Nephilim aren't the offspring of the sons of God and
Do you know who the Nephilim are?
No, as a race of people, no, we don't really
what
have a great
Nephilim
deal of
are.
evidence for them at all, other than what occurs in the Bible. We do have things like people turn up in archaeology, sometimes huge skeletons, what's appeared to be huge human skeletons. I saw a picture of one when I was busy
Comes from the
searching
history of
through
the
this.
giants, doesn't it?
Well, there's
Giant-
the
yeah,
same
yeah,
word.
yeah.
weren't
Yeah.
they like split? 7 foot was
Yeah, I mean,
So
Goliath is an
Nephilim could just be
example.
another word for giant, as in like a giant human. Does it have to have some sort of heavenly connection?
Yeah, because the story is nowadays we think of giants as like
Yeah, it's just like
a different race of
Yeah.
creature, animal.
animal.
It's just interesting that they have this. The root word that it comes from is fallen. It is fallen. Now, I just should mention to you, part of it is there's the fallen, but there's also to fall upon is another way it can be read. Now, that's a phrase that occurs in the Bible. Does anybody knows what it means? If you fall upon someone,
Do you like attack them or something?
yes, absolutely. You attack them. So another one is that there's a story of the Good Samaritan, the man who fell among thieves. Okay, in other words, the thieves attacked him. Okay, but to fall upon someone is
Is
to
to
attack
attack.
them, and this is perhaps where some of the idea of them being warriors
The Nephilim.
occurs. The Nephilim occurs. Can I take you a little further on into my little leaflet that I've given you? And what I've done is I've taken a couple of sections out of this book. So this book is called Arcana Celestia by Emanuel Swedenborg. This title means Heavenly Secrets. Okay. Bit of background into this. Swedenborg, when he first started writing about spiritual matters, he wrote this, what in English is 12 volumes in the books of Genesis and Exodus. And he goes through the books of Genesis and Exodus in great detail. And so I've gone to where he writes about that particular verse, Genesis chapter 6, verse 4, about who the Nephilim are, or what they mean.
He talks about that.
Talks about what they mean.
What does he say?
Well, we're going to read it.
Okay,
We're going
cool.
to read it. So, middle pages. Okay. So, Arcana Celestia, Secrets of Heaven, and I've got two paragraphs here. The second one's fairly long. AC is the way it's referred to in New Church, short for Arcana Celestia. And Swedenborg, when he gives every paragraph a number. So this is paragraph 580. The Nephilim mean those who, persuaded of their own prominence and superiority, treated everything holy and true as being worthless. He's looking at this particular verse and unpacking it just briefly. Very much so after the sons of God went into the daughters of man who bore children to them, means at that time when they immersed doctrinal matters concerning faith in their own evil desires and formed false persuasions. They were called mighty men on account of their self-love, and from of old, men of the name means that such people had also existed previously. So he's just taken very briefly and unpacked that verse. Now he's going to deal specifically with the Nephilim. The Nephilim mean those who, persuaded of their own prominence and superiority, treated everything holy and true as being worthless, is clear from what comes before and directly after. That is to say, they immersed matters of doctrine in their own evil desires, which is what is meant by the statement about the sons of God going into the daughters of man who bore children to them. Persuasion concerning self and its own delusions also grows as more and more things enter in, till at length that persuasion is inerasable. And when doctrinal matters concerning faith are added as well, utterly persuasive assumptions cause them to treat everything holy and true as being worthless, and they become Nephilim. As has been stated, this set of people who lived before the flood are such that all spirits are choked to death by their absolutely dreadful delusions, which spread from them like a spear that is poisonous and choking. Spirits are so choked to death by them that they do not know how to think, and as a result feel semi-dead. And unless the Lord, by his coming into the world, had freed the world of spirits from so pernicious a set of people, no one could possibly have stayed there, and so the human race, which the Lord governs by means of spirits, would have perished. Consequently, these people are now detained in a hell beneath what looks like a misty solid rock, beneath the heel of the left foot. Nor do they ever try to escape. The world of spirits is accordingly free of that extremely dangerous crew. That crew and the thoroughly poisonous sphere of persuasions from it will, in the Lord's divine mercy, be dealt with in a separate subject. These are the people called the Nephilim, and they treat all that is holy and true as being worthless. Now, the thing about this is, try and get a sense of what it's talking about here. We have to deal with it in its context. Where does it occur in the Bible story? What's happening, about to happen in the Bible story? The flood. So what Swedenborg's talking about is he's talking about he's trying to put across an idea of the history of humankind,
Mhm.
and saying that at this point in our history, things have got so bad, humanity has got so bad that we are in danger of wiping ourselves out. Okay? Now, if we were to look at Swedenborg's commentary on the previous chapter, which is the genealogy of Adam all the way down to Noah, what he says is that these names, one after another, although they're very hard actually to work out what each name is actually talking about, simply because often some of them just occur only once in the Bible. This is the only point.
Mm.
It's basically a story of a gradual decline in the spiritual state of humanity, and the decline reaches its bottom, if you like, in the little description that we see at the beginning of chapter 6. Now, we can try and take this as a historical event, as in the flood, okay? And we can try and, as some people do, as say that Noah really existed and the flood really happened, and this was God's judgment on humanity. What Swedenborg suggests is something a little different, though, that it's a spiritual state that mankind has got themselves into, and this is where he gets into talking about spirits and angels, and spirits in this passage. Swedenborg talks about the spiritual world as being basically three different places, if you like. There's heaven and there's hell, and then there's this place in between that he calls the world of spirits.
In between us and
Well, in between heaven and hell, we exist in the world of spirits. You see? Okay, so we are both natural, physical beings, but we have a mind also, which is not physical. It's a spiritual entity, and our mind exists in the world of spirits. So we feel influences from heaven and hell via our presence, our existence in the world of spirits. Now, the Nephilim are spirits that would be so bad that spiritually they choke us to death. That's the drowning. It's the drowning that occurs in the flood. You see, that's what is being described there.
But it's drowning them, not us.
No, it's drowning us as well.
They would drown us given the chance. You see, and that's
everyone's annihilated except for Noah.
sorry.
Everyone's annihilated except for Noah. So.
In the story, yes, that's right. Noah and his family are the only ones that survive, because everybody else succumbs to the Nephilim and their like. You see, they succumb to these dreadful desires, dreadful persuasions and evil desires. That's what he's trying to describe, right? Okay. Now, then, when we start talking about our own lives and how this applies to each of us, can anybody sort of apply it to your own life? Those sorts of ideas.
Well, when we think that our own awesomeness is better than anybody else's awesomeness or opinion or whatever, and we think we're right, without taking anybody else into account, then besides, I think we can enforce loneliness on ourselves as well. And that's a type of drowning.
Yeah, yes. We can even put ourselves above God. You know, we can believe that we are above God, or even I think there's one that talks about that God does not exist. You know, and we can persuade ourselves of all sorts of things. Yes. So it kind of offers us it's a choice. Do we go down this path or do we go down that path?
I was talking to a friend on the weekend about, you know, she's Mormon, and she was saying, I just don't understand how people can, you know, justify, you know, these holy wars and, you know, doing violent acts in the name of their faith. And I said, anyone can justify anything. I said, if you look in the Bible, you could justify violent acts, extremism, if you wanted to. There's lots of chapters where you could get out and justify it. Yeah. So.
Yes, that's right. An example is coming up. I mean, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the relationship between the three sons is used to justify racism, for example, later on in the story. So yes. Okay. So is that clear to everybody? I know I've sort of said a lot. I've given you a lot of information. What you have to understand about Swedenborg's understanding about the Bible is for this part of the Bible, he does not take literally as a literal story. It's a story which has a meaning, and it is the meaning behind it that is the important part. For us, it's not the literal.
It's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor. Okay. Yes. He's not saying he's not saying that the flood happened. He's certainly not saying that it's the judgment of God. He's saying that this is a spiritual state that mankind got itself into, and in order for mankind to continue to exist, something had to shift. Something had to take place. So, you know, Swedenborg in his what we've read, he talks about these people being kept down in the hells, and they are prevented from coming back up into the world of spirits because of the dreadful influence they would have upon us. Yeah, so that's important to bear in mind when you read these sorts of stories. Any questions?
I still don't understand
Okay.
the whole for children thing.
The sons of God and the daughters of men.
Yeah. It's a
Are the
bit
sons of God
ambiguous.
still?
Yeah.
I mean, are they angels now? If we know what Nephilim are.
So look, let's just go back to I'll go back to what Swedenborg wrote here. Very much so after the sons of God went into the daughters of men, mean that at that time when they immersed doctrinal matters concerning faith with their own evil desires and formed false persuasions. So here's what Swedenborg says. So the sons of God are actually doctrinal matters concerning faith.
Right, very much so. Okay, so the daughters of men absorbed the sons of God, which was the doctrinal faith matters.
So hang on, let's just the doctrinal matters concerning faith of the sons of God, evil desires of the daughters of men, and the result was false persuasion.
So it's like extremism.
Yeah, go on, explore that a bit more.
So like if you like what Pam was saying about how you can use things in the Bible as justification for doing great evil.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's right. So in Swedenborg's understanding of the word, that's what that is actually talking about.
Oh, the sons of God went in the daughters.
Now
What?
I understand.
Why do they have to say it like that?
Say what, like what?
The sons of God. So what? That's doctrinal matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how does he know that?
Why?
Like, you know, like it's just a revelation. He makes that. This just seems like no. What's the logic?
So what you've got is a masculine principle and a feminine principle there. okay? Sons and daughters. Yes?
Yep.
Okay. And there is what is divine, and there is what is human in there as well. Yeah, yes? Okay. So for Swedenborg, the masculine principle is truth. And the feminine principle is affection or desire. Okay? So truths that come from the divine and desires.
It's just affection, desire, and love too.
Yes, sure. Loves. Yeah. That's that sort of group of words. So you've got the doctrinal matters of truth, and you've got desires.
So it's kind of like rationality versus feeling as well, isn't it?
Yes, they're two words again on those two sides. So two sides of our being, aren't they? Right.
Yeah.
So the will and the understanding. Desire, knowledge. Those sorts of groups of words. Okay. So one has a divine source, but the other one has an earthly source, like all from people. Right. And the marriage of the two is not always good. So you take your extremists. Okay. So they look into the Bible, they look into the Quran, and they take divine principles, which are good, or which are true, and twist them to suit their own ends, and that's what's being described here, and the resultant justification of their actions. Yeah. Now Swedenborg will go to great lengths to show that the masculine principle is the truth side, and the feminine principle is the affectional side. And he'll go into the word and he'll quote, sometimes tens, 20s, dozens of passages to show one and then show the other. So that's why these books, when I say 12 volumes to do it, Genesis and Exodus, that's why these are so long, because he'll take passage after passage after passage to show one thing and then show another. Let's see.
Wait, there are 1,113, is it? What is that?
So those are the paragraphs in that particular one. So this, I pulled out volume 2 as well. Okay, which is paragraphs 1114 to 2134. He's got over 11,000 paragraphs in the whole work. And the paragraph's not a traditional paragraph like that. That's what we call a paragraph. Note that the next one is that. That's another one of his. That's his next paragraph.
How many volumes? 12.
12. Okay.
Which can be counted as, I don't really, maybe I just did too much reading, and I don't count that as a paragraph. It's just
We don't. We say a paragraph is that. We call that a paragraph. And in that case, that is his paragraph. That's his whole paragraph. But paragraph 581 is much, much longer. And some of them are many pages. He's actually quite short and succinct in volume 1. As he goes on, the paragraphs get longer and longer and longer.
Have you read them all?
I'm working my way through it.
What?
It's
How
one of
many?
those
How
things
many
that I
are?
dip into and as a user, a research resource. But yes, I'm working my way through it.
And how many accounting solution books are there?
12 plus an index, 13.
There's a whole book for index.
Yeah. He indexed everything meticulously. So if you go in here, you find and you look through, and occasionally he'll say, okay, so for all numbers in the word mean real things, as shown already in, and then he quotes 482, 487, 575, 647, 648, 755, 813. Those are the paragraphs he's already talked about what numbers mean. You see? So as he's gone along, he's indexed what he's done. He didn't.
He's
No, I know. I know. I mean, before he even did this,
This is why he was writing upon Shakespeare.
before he even wrote this book, what he did was he indexed the Bible.
Wait, no, not Shakespeare.
He indexed the whole Bible before he got into writing this thing.
So that he can do this quicker.
So yeah, so when it comes down to it, he can index the Bible and refer to all these biblical.
Yeah.
But that's what people did. I mean, you think about Johann Sebastian Bach and the stuff that he wrote. He went through a year of his life writing 2 cantatas for 2 different churches a week.
What's
A cantata is like a half-hour piece of music which involves orchestra, choir, soloists.
He wrote 2 a week.
He wrote 2 of those a week because he was working for 2 different churches, and his job was to provide them with music. So it's not just one instrumentalist, like an organ player.
Well,
He was
look, a
playing
nice
the organ.
song, you do one good song these days, you can make $1 million.
Yeah.
But yeah. He would write 2 half-hour pieces of music a week.
And each one's got
Well, an
Orchestras.
orchestra, at least a 4-part choir, possibly sometimes 2 4-part choirs, a number of soloists. It's unbelievable. No.
definitely.
So similar sort of. Yeah, you wonder, eh? I mean, he would have had people working for him in terms of writing out the parts. Can you imagine writing out all the instrumental parts?
Yeah.
So he'd have
Yeah,
someone.
Not making mistakes.
They'd have copyists who would take his original score and write out the parts, so he can then go on and work on
Oh,
something else.
okay. That
But
makes
then
so
of course
much
he's got to
sense.
rehearse all of that
He
stuff.
created
too.
it. He created it.
Yeah.
He creates it and
Yeah.
scribbles it down, and then they write it out nicely.
Yeah. So he writes the score, the full score,
Yeah.
or in such a way that the copyists can actually read it. And
And
then the
then-
copyist's job is to write out the first violin part, and then the second violin part, and
To
then
break
the
it
other
up.
part.
So basically, he would write what in band. Mr. Foster would have this.
Yeah.
Basically, you'd see if you watch the conductor, they're flipping pages way more than all the other than the people who are actually playing,
Mhm.
because
He's got
they
it.
have
multiple instruments.
about like 1 line for the flutes,
Mm.
1 line for the bass,
Mm.
1 line for the saxophones, 1 line for the trumpets, 1 line for the trombones, 1 line for the pianos, and then it's got the drummers, and then it's like, so it has all these different things, and you've got like a line, and then you have to go on to the next page.
But
So that's what
basically,
he would make.
yeah, he'd have
And
to
then
do
the
that in 2 days.
copyists would go take the flute part and
To write out just the
from
flute
all
part.
the different pages and put it on 1 page or like a few pages, because it's
Mm.
He must have just really liked doing it.
Yeah, he must have.
you would have
Yeah.
to actually like
And having written it, they then have to rehearse it as well. Because you can't just say, you turn up on Sunday morning and say, here you go.
Right, so you had to
So,
get it done
Within the first
by
half of the week.
Tuesday, and then they will write it out by Wednesday.
That's
and
right.
then- What a lot of pressure.
Rehearse
So,
it.
so some super rich
Well, he
church
could
is
just
getting this
start
done
it on
for them.
Wednesday.
Two
so
churches.
finish it by
Yeah.
2 different churches in the same town.
He must have been writing a week before for the following week.
You would imagine there's
Yeah,
constantly
it's-
ideas going through his head, I imagine. But, yeah, so, I mean, that's
And one of these
that's
pieces,
some of the time.
so there's a lot of stuff that he did that's not particularly famous. I guess.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wait, this is what Swedenborg is.
No, this was Johann Sebastian
Yeah,
Bach.
yeah, okay.
As an example, people in that era and the amount of stuff they would produce.
And it was such good quality too.
Yeah, absolutely. So Swedenborg, I know for the books like this, he would write out a rough copy, and then he'd write out a good copy for the printer. You see, so that the printer could actually read it, because his rough copy obviously might be fairly scribbled and quite quick. So he's then gone through, he's meticulously written it out legibly, so the printer can then set it and print it. So it's phenomenal the amount of work people produced without computers.
I'm going through everything on my website right now.
It's
Been at it for a couple of months. It's already written.
So there you go. Can we just get back to this and just tidy up any loose ends or questions people have?
guess he kind of, because like, you know, when you do assignments these days,
Mm.
you have to go and you have to like research it, and then you'd have to do it.
Yeah.
But he just kind of like lived and breathed that stuff, basically.
Yeah, I guess so.
And so
I mean, he's
it's
done-
kind of like you wouldn't have to like do the research about it, but he still did a lot of research.
I guess he's done. You know, he's read the Bible in great depth. He's certainly been able to index it. He's spent a lot of time studying and meditating on each section of the word to be able to write in the detail that he's written and make the connection between other parts of the Bible. Yeah. He thinks he's done that. Right, we'll draw a line under it there.
I have one more
Oh, yes.
question. They were the heroes of old men of renown. What does that mean?
So
we're saying that basically heavenly teachings met with humans, and in the case of Nephilim it created something evil, but in this case did it create the heroes of old, men of renown? This is
Yeah.
Genesis 6.
Yeah, my translation is the mighty men who were of old. Okay, which is not necessarily heroic.
Yeah, okay.
Now, Swedenborg also uses, or the translator of Swedenborg also uses the term mighty men on account of their self-love.
Okay.
Okay. I've got a little quote on the bottom of my email that says, you know, what is more frequently angry than self-love? You know, more frequently upset about, you know, what people do to them and that sort of thing is self-love. So we can do a great deal of harm to other people because of our love
Self-love.
of ourselves and justify it on the basis of our love of ourselves.
Like, yeah, we're just looking out for ourselves.
Yeah, as though we are the most important person in the world. I do want to talk about where we go from here. One of the suggestions or possibilities I had is we could conduct this entirely online and not have to meet here, and that may suit Jason and Judy more. I don't know. I was also thinking, Judy, that there's no absolute need for you to be part of the group if you.
Oh no, I think it's great. It's great to be part of it. I don't have anything against that. Maybe if we went to once a month.
Yeah, I mean frequency. We'd started initially with them twice a month. Sorry, just because we had that sort of set course to do. I'm very happy with a monthly frequency. If that's
Once a month would be okay.
that'd be all right. And I don't know what you want to do, Matt. What do you want to continue?
Once a month is fine.
Is all right.
Yeah.
I don't want to put too great pressure on anybody, and I'm also aware of the pressure on myself as well. So
And you're coming up to testing time, right?
we've got exams, ballet exams have just started, so through to the beginning of September. No, it's not every day. Yeah, it's not every day. But I might have 4 days in a row, for example, occasionally. But then I'll have a whole week where I've got nothing. So it's a bit piecemeal.
Where do you go away for it?
We go to Wagga, 28th, 29th,
I thought it was 26.
somewhere around there.
It's Friday, Saturday,
Somewhere
Sunday.
around that sort of place.
Here's a thought I have. Where I think it's more engaging and better to be interacting here than online.
Yeah.
And for the same reason, I was just thinking, that they've still got you playing the piano, so they can just turn on a piece of equipment. It costs them a lot less.
Yeah.
But there's something involved in being there.
Yeah.
Something energetic.
Yeah.
About that.
I'm certainly happy to continue, and monthly is fine. That works out quite well for me. So yeah. I just don't know at the moment when the next one will be. Just have to let you know.
Mhm.
My diary.
And then options for the topic. Maybe is there like Swedenborg got some options, like the societies or something got options for new people, what sorts of things that groups of thought worth covering?
One of the things that came up tonight was the serpent. We could look at the serpent.
I would like to look at the set.
Look at the serpent in the Genesis chapter 3. But I'm not quite sure I understand what you were saying, Jason. Are there like study courses? Is that what you're asking about?
Well, rather than just random things like a serpent there, like
Well, I mean,
it's very intellectual what we're doing rather than inspirational.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. And I know you're quite capable of that. I'm just saying it's this sort of I've appreciated this, but it's like having these two dive into the very deep on like an academic enterprise.
Yeah.
And then get the basic connections. This is the thought I have. So
what specifically would you be looking for?
Sure.
Okay.
But I do remember we went to, for example, we did for a few times went to the Presbyterian church when we were in a small town in Colorado. Some group had organised something in England that they were following. It was quite good in terms of. I just thought maybe an Athens would have
purpose-driven life or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Or alpha course sort of thing. Go to the alpha course. Okay. It's an English thing. Yeah. Okay.
So maybe we could talk about that with the four of us and then propose give these two an option of a couple of options that we thought was good, but let them choose after that.
Yeah. Well, we will do the serpent next time because that came up tonight.
Yeah. Good.
So we'll deal with that. And then beyond that, yes, if anybody's got any ideas or thoughts, then we can do whatever. I have done in the past an overview of the whole Bible, which is a possibility. Again, it's probably more intellectual than inspirational, as you're saying. Yeah.
Well, we've done a lot still, and I'm not at all critical of where we've done. Okay, I'm just saying where we go forward. For me, my strongest connection of faith to things is the inspiration of Jesus himself and what he said and did and why he did it. And rather than going back so far in time to the Old Testament, which really is a highly intellectual exercise because it's so symbolic.
Everything is symbolic in it.
Okay.
But for these guys, they haven't heard much of that. So.
Well, we'll do the serpent next time. I guess if everybody puts their thinking caps on, we can do certainly the parables of Jesus if that's where you're headed. Yeah,
Could be.
So that's
covering some
one option.
basics, because some of the stuff you've shown me, I never even knew ever and different things. So it's really good. Not to say that. So what do you think of that? You guys doing a little section on the parables of Jesus and what they mean? Because I've always felt sorry I missed it, but I enjoyed it. We went to the Mount where the Sermon on the Mount was, and I know David Adelaide likes that. Has done something like that. So you do that. You can do what's the meaning of some of the miracles and what do they mean? I think it's a lot.
Yeah. Or something like the Lord's Prayer, or those.
And I'd be very interested in some of those things and what Swedenborg said on that, because I know he spent all his time on these books. Well, not all of it, but a lot of it's the the Old Testament, which is incredibly valuable. But what does he bring to the depth of what Jesus was saying?
Yeah.
Really done as much at that time as was from New Church as we get from the Old Testament, and yet for me the Jesus connection is the most meaningful.
Okay. All right. Different ideas to take it from there. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Pack up and go home. And I need to find my phone. I'll put my phone somewhere. And my son left it in the car. I suspect I personally did.
So we're set up for Friday afternoon then?